Greetings, my fellow preppers. Welcome back to the Last Living Prepper channel. Today, we are diving into a topic that is quintessential for any survival scenario: water storage. Now, we all understand that water is life, but storing it properly can be a bit of a challenge, especially when you're prepping for the long haul. In this video, we are going to discuss the 3 most common mistakes preppers make when storing water. We'll explore why water can go bad, the role of microorganisms like E. coli and Legionella, and how improper disinfection can lead to a tainted water supply. We'll also delve into the importance of using the right containers and the potential chemical hazards involved. And lastly, we'll touch on the often overlooked aspect of storage location. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments section. The first common mistake preppers make is improper disinfection of the water and its containers. This can lead to the growth of harmful microorganisms, including E. coli, Giardia, and hepatitis A virus, among others. These microorganisms are encouraged by light, oxygen, and improperly washed and disinfected containers. To properly disinfect water and its containers, one can use bleach, sodium hypochlorite, hydrogen peroxide, or colloidal silver. For instance, before storing water long-term, consider treating it with sodium hypochlorite. This was discussed in our previous video about creating and storing an emergency water supply. Alternatively, you can use 8 drops of 3% hydrogen peroxide per gallon of water. Another option is colloidal silver. The general guideline is to use 1 ounce of 10 parts per million colloidal silver per gallon of stored water. For a maximum long-term disinfection, some people use 2 ounces of 10 parts per million colloidal silver per gallon. However, caution is recommended when using these methods. Interestingly, a McGill University study found that adding hydrogen peroxide to colloidal silver-treated water can increase the decontamination and disinfection of common microbes, such as E. coli, by up to 1,000 times. The optimal dose is 30 parts per billion silver and 30 parts per million hydrogen peroxide. Once you've disinfected your water and stored it, make sure to aerate it and let it sit for 30 minutes before drinking to rinse off the chemicals. You can also add 4 to 8 drops of chlorine per gallon every 6 to 12 months to keep the water potable. Remember, proper disinfection is the first step to safe water storage. The second mistake preppers often make is storing water in the wrong types of containers, a mistake that can turn your life-saving water supply into a hazard. The culprit? Non-food grade containers and some PET plastic containers. These containers, often marked with symbols like PVC polyvinyl chloride, PS polystyrene, or BPA bisphenol A, are not designed to store consumables safely and may release detectable microplastic fragments. Most plastic water bottles are made of PT, polyethylene terephthalate plastic. Researchers from Brunel University London found that recycled PET bottles may pass more potentially harmful chemicals into their contents than newly manufactured bottles. This type of plastic may leach 150 different chemicals into the liquid content. These include harmful substances such as heavy metals like antimony and lead, as well as hormone disruptors like BPA. Reusable plastic bottles can further release hundreds of different compounds into the water, such as plasticizers and slip agents. Over 400 different compounds have been found to migrate from new plastic bottles into the water. Instead, what you want to look for are food-grade containers. These are made from high-density polyethylene and are fully opaque, meaning they block out light that could encourage the growth of unwanted organisms. HDPE is considered to be the least likely to leach harmful chemicals into its contents. If you're planning larger quantities, Rotoplas water containers are a great go-to. However, be wary of used containers. Sure, they might seem like a cost-effective solution, but you don't know what they previously held. If plastic containers aren't your cup of tea, there are alternatives. Glass bottles, for instance, are less practical and more fragile. Then there are corny kegs, made from stainless steel and capable of holding a maximum pressure of 60 psi, making them ideal for storing almost any beverage. For those who are really thinking ahead, water packets designed for lifeboats are a fantastic option. Remember, the goal here is to ensure your water supply remains safe and drinkable for as long as possible. Choosing the right container is crucial for maintaining the quality of your stored water and reducing the risk of harmful microplastics and chemicals contamination. The third mistake is storing water in areas prone to chemical contamination. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't have any dangerous chemicals lying around. But it's not just about obvious hazards like bleach or petrol. Even everyday items can pose a risk if they're stored too close to your water supply. Let's take cleaning products for instance. They're a common sight in most homes, but they're also packed with chemicals that can be harmful if ingested. If these products were to leak or spill near your water containers, they could contaminate your supply. The same goes for petrol or benzene. These substances are not only toxic but highly volatile too. So what can you do to avoid this? First, keep your water storage away from any areas where you store chemicals. This includes garages, sheds, or basements where you might keep cleaning supplies, paints, or petrol. But it's not just about what's around your water, it's also about what's beneath it. Storing water containers directly on the ground or floor isn't a good idea. Concrete can leach chemicals over time, and if there's a spill or leak from something on a nearby shelf, gravity will ensure it finds its way to your water supply. You need also be mindful of household pests which may have access to and cause contamination of your water storage. Instead, keep your water containers elevated on a shelf or pallet. This will not only protect them from potential ground contaminants but also make it easier for you to spot and deal with any leaks. And remember, rotating your water supply is key. Even with the best storage practices, it's always a good idea to use and replenish your water stocks regularly. This helps ensure the water you're storing stays fresh and safe to drink. So to sum up, always be mindful of where you're storing your water. Avoid areas with potential chemical hazards and keep your containers off the ground. Remember, the location of your water storage can significantly affect its safety and potability. Let's quickly recap the common mistakes preppers make when storing water. First, improper disinfection can lead to the growth of harmful microorganisms. Remember to shock your containers with bleach before use and treat your water with sodium hypochlorite or hydrogen peroxide. Alternatively, you can use colloidal silver, but remember to follow the recommended dosages. Second, using the wrong containers can cause chemical contamination. Avoid transparent or non-food grade plastic containers. Instead, opt for opaque, high-density polyethylene containers or consider alternatives like glass bottles or corny kegs. Finally, a bad storage location can expose your water to additional chemical contamination. Keep your water away from cleaning chemicals, petrol, or benzene, and store it off the ground on a shelf or pallet. Avoiding these mistakes and following the suggested tips can ensure your water remains safe to drink. Thank you for tuning in today. Remember, proper water storage is a critical aspect of preparedness. Stay safe, stay prepared, and until next time, this is The Last Living Prepper signing off.